Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to EDC Array. Today, I want to talk about a subject that, well, it's more of a personal subject. It's one that's I put a lot of thought into. And originally, I was actually going to make this into two videos, but it made more sense as one. And it's really just why I feel EDC matters and why I love EDC so much. Because those two just go hand in hand, right? Just makes sense. Why I love, since I was a kid, right? I've been into the hobby. I didn't know about the hobby, but since I was 6 years old, I've had this sense of, I want to be prepared. And it all stems from a movie I saw as a kid, a cartoon movie. It was Felix the Cat, the movie. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And I actually watched the movie in preparation for this video, and I gotta say, it's actually not a great movie. I mean, it's entertaining, but it's not the story is lacking. And but anyway, I watched that movie, and Felix the Cat, if you don't know, in the movie has this magic bag, and it's called Felix's Magic Bag of Tricks. And this bag, he can make it have it turn into anything he needs at the moment, pull anything out of the bag that he might need. And as a kid, I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. And I wanted Felix's magic bag. Well, obviously I couldn't have it, right? It's not real. But when we used to go to Mexico a lot when I was a kid. I have family in Mexico, and my uncle bought me this satchel, right? Like an Indiana Jones satchel, like you wear on your side. And I filled that thing with anything and everything I could think of, and most of it was just useless items, but I was a kid, and it was things that I wanted to be prepared. So I had everything and anything that I could think would come up. I don't know if any of it mattered. Couldn't even tell you what the items were, but I felt I was prepared. And again, as I got older, I didn't keep carrying the bag. That kind of died off, but my sense of wanting to be prepared never went away. Growing up, couldn't carry a knife. My dad wouldn't let me have a knife as a kid, and I went to school, so I couldn't have one there, right? But I always loved watches. I always really loved multi-tools. My dad gave me a little cheapy, I'm sure he got it from work, and a cheapy Chinese multi-tool that had a flashlight on it, actually. And the flashlight left a lot to be wanting, but I thought it was cool. When I got a little older, my dad helped me curate a little bit of a knife collection. Most of it was just gas station knives and like CRKT and Kershaw. And back then, CRKT and Kershaw they had really good designs, but they did not really necessarily use quality materials, like quality or premium blade steels. And at the time, blade steels was not even a thing in my head as it is now. But I also, I was a big Doctor Who fan. Now, I'm actually a big nerd. I mean, look at me, look at this. But you can tell I'm a nerd. But I'd carry pen lights too, and the pen lights. I realized how handy it is to have a flashlight when you need it. I mean, even that little cheapy multi-tool my father gave me, I realized how handy a flashlight is. When it's dark and you need to see, and there's no way to see, you're in a world of trouble, right? Well, even those cheap pen lights came in handy, and that always stayed with me. And as I got older and I went to Job Corps to study. I say study, but really it was just it was college. But anyway, it was the United Brotherhood of Carpenters apprenticeship program that was partnered with Job Corps in order to provide, young people with, knowledge to work in a construction environment, as far as the profession of carpentry is, right? I was, when I, was there, we carried tool bags. And I was like, that blew my mind. I was like, it is so convenient to have your tools on you when you need them. I thought that was perfect. and it's stuck with me ever since. I mean, if you haven't seen my other videos, I do make leather holsters for myself, and flashlight, knife, multi-tool, and I carry. If you're interested, just watch the intro video to my channel. I talk about what I carry every day, and I give a little introduction at the end. But I do talk about all of my gear and what I currently carry, at least at that time, and most of it's what I carry now still, if not all of it. Anyway, it's stuck with me. I carry that holster on my belt. I also have a pocket organizer where I carry a lot of this other stuff. Obviously, the watch I wear on my wrist, right? But you get what I mean. This hobby has shaped me. It's shaped my personality in a lot of ways. I've been like this since I was a kid. I didn't know it was about the community until in maybe my mid-20s, but I've been doing this a long time, and I've had a long time to think about it. And why I feel it matters is also why I love it, because I love the sense of being prepared. I think that people who are in this hobby have a very strong sense of preparedness, and along with that comes with a sense of awareness. This is conjecture, but I think people who are in this hobby, the community, have a better sense of awareness, or maybe not better, but they have more of a sense of awareness. It's more prevalent in the community, an ability to plan, maybe, because you want to be prepared for the unknown. That's why we carry these things. And sometimes you shift and you adjust your EDC for what's going to fit. For the most part, my EDC stays the same. I'm a blue collar guy. I don't do a whole, like when I'm on the weekends, I'm doing projects, I'm working. So the things I carry just make my life easier. And that's why, again, I love this hobby, and I think it matters, because the essence of EDC to me is when you carry these things, right? Anything it doesn't have to be these things, but anything you carry, whether it's in your purse, in your pocket, in your backpack, whether you're a man or a woman, whatever, you carry these certain items because it makes your life easier, because it helps you in your day-to-day, whether that's for work, whether it's just for when life happens, or just regular life stuff, everyday stuff. That is the essence of EDC to me. You carry things that make your life easier, right? And this is just a portion of what I carry, but it makes my life easier. It helps me do my job better. One thing about me that you should know is I really, really, this is why I'm not a mechanic, because I really hate walking back and forth to grab tools. I don't like to go here, grab a tool, come back. Oh shoot, I need another tool. That gets on my nerves. And sometimes almost irrationally, right? It's a big pet peeve of mine. But also I carry this because it helps me not have to do that as much. Can I take apart a car with this? No. But, if I need to tighten a screw or a bolt, and I don't want to walk back to my car or my truck or my toolbox, and I can do it with this, I'm sure going to do it with this, right? If I'm going to try at least. If I need to, if I probably wouldn't use this, I would use my pliers wrench, but if I need to tighten a nut, there we go. That's in my pocket. If I need to be able to see really quick, I have a flashlight. If I need to cut something, I have a very sharp knife that I can do that with. If I need to write something down, I have that. I also carry a notepad to be able to do so, right? Even my phone, I consider that part of, it is part of my EDC, right? My phone is probably the most used part of my EDC. I use it more times than I could count in a day. But anyway, that's what I love about this hobby. It's part of it, and I think that's why it matters. If you don't have to be in the community to be a part of this, because again, I'll reiterate, if you use anything you use to make your life easier, or just to help you along, I would consider as it's EDC. You don't have to be in the community, but it's EDC, right? The utility behind it, again, the utility behind it is, right? Like, I carry a knife so I can cut things. I carry a multi-tool so I can perform different tasks. I don't want to harp on this, and I don't want to be repetitive, but yeah, the utility behind it is, it is what it is. I think people who are in this hobby too, and again, this is conjecture, but it may be people who are in this hobby are dependable and tend to be reliable. You know, they tend to be really good at planning, maybe. They tend to, they have a do-it-yourself attitude. I personally am a very big right to repair guy. It's why I really love Chris Reeve, because they encourage you to take apart and disassemble their tool, put it together. They don't, if you can't do it, you can send it back to them. I like that. Big Idea Design does it too. They encourage you to they give you the tools. Again, I have my issues with Big Idea Design, but also one thing I will say is that they're big on right to repair as far as I can see. Some of these things, like I'm not going to take my watch apart. There's not much to this or this, but it's there. Some companies don't want you to take apart their things. Okay, if you make a good product, I'm probably still going to take it apart, but I won't let you know about it, right? But I'm a big right to repair guy, and I think that people who are also in this hobby, in this community, are big do-it-yourself guys. And I might be painting broad strokes here, but I do believe, for the most part, that you're, if you are in this hobby, in this community, you are part of it. You love this hobby the way most everyone I see does. Then you're probably a person that, works on their own stuff, works on their own car, repairs their own dirt bikes, or, jet skis, or whatever it is you have. You're a person that probably works with your hands. Not in a saying that everyone has to, right? Not saying that you can't be in an office job and enjoy this. That's not what I'm getting at. But you're probably someone that's not afraid to get down and fix something yourself, or at least try. I'm not saying you have to figure it out, but if someone is at least willing to try, I have a lot of respect for that personally. And another thing, and banking off of what I just said about you can be in an office job and be in this hobby, is that the inclusivity of this hobby. You can be someone from any walk of life, from any country, from any background, and enjoy this hobby. There's so many subgenres and subcategories to this hobby, right? I mean, flashlights that's a rabbit hole in itself. I mean, neutral white, bins, DUV, BBL. I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, but different tints, different, if you're above or below BBL, this light tends to be a little above BBL, but it's still neutral white, and I love it for that. A lot of people don't like this company, but I do. Again, same thing with this company. People think it's pricey, but I do love this company. I love, knives are its own rabbit hole. There's subcategories in knives like blade steel and geometry and material, multi-tools, even like things like this. This is there's companies coming out with their own version of this, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Another reason why I love this hobby and I think it matters is because there's, whether you like, well, let me finish what I was going to originally say. Whether you like pens, watches, you can be a part of this community. One of the subcategories, subgenres, you can be a part of it. It is super inclusive, and I love that, and I think that is also why it matters, and why I love it, and what it makes it important. Why I think EDC is important. Another thing is the popularity of EDC is, we have options. I remember, well, I'm not going to get into that too much because I do want to make that a separate video, but the options are amazing. And because of that, the community we support one another by, hey, look at this thing that came out. I mean, there's subreddits about, when a knife's going to come out drop. Certain knives are hard to get, like an Umnum's right? That's a beautiful thing. We're there helping one another, being there, being supportive. For you, if it's about about chasing the next best thing, the best gear, then yeah, that's great, because you don't have to go searching as much. I mean, you can search, but also you can go on subreddits and someone might have it there for you. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. I like the ease of mind behind it. Again, someone that's prepared. I'm not one of those doomsday preppers myself, but I do enjoy being ready for maybe some of the unknown. I can't be ready for everything, But one of my personal beliefs and philosophies is that I can't fix everything, but I can just about fix anything, right? And I think that goes with being prepared, and it gives you an ease of mind, and let's be honest. If you're in this hobby, if you're in the community, this is a way of life. I know it sounds like something from The Mandalorian, but like this is the way, but it's true. This is a way of life. For me, it is. I've been doing this since I was a kid, and it's ingrained in me. It's a part of me now. Carrying this stuff, the guys at work make fun of me sometimes because I carry so much, but you know what? When they need a tool, when I have it, well, I don't hear them making fun then, right? And I don't care. I embrace it. This is who I am. This is my way of life. And I think if you probably share that sentiment, maybe. And another thing is this hobby, if you're in this hobby, I would again venture to say that you're probably the type of person that likes helping others. And helping others being, that's the core of this community, right? We help one another, we support one another, but then we help others. You maybe you're the type of guy, maybe you're not, maybe you're the type of person that would stop to help someone that's on the side of the road, and maybe you keep tools in your trunk. Maybe just what's on you. You can maybe do a little bit of tinkering and helping with that. I think that people who tend to carry these, or is in this community, carry EDC items and is passionate about it, tends to be someone that helps people. And that's the most beautiful and wonderful thing I can say, is we're all on this earth together. And we should all be there to support and help one another, right? There's a lot of wonderful, beautiful human beings in this world and in this hobby. And that's what I enjoy about it, is the conversations, the ideas, the topics, the philosophy behind it, not just the gear. The gear is definitely a main core part of it, but also just the people and the ideas and the new and unique ideas that it brings to the table. It brings to the forefront. But also, for me personally, why I love this hobby is because it allows me to help others and to serve my God. I'm a Christian, and I'm going to save this for last, because if this makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to listen. And I hope I don't offend anyone, but I'm a Christian. And my goal is to serve my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who I believe died for me, and he died for you too. And I'm not here, maybe I'll preach a little bit, but what I'm getting at is that this hobby allows me to help others in the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Jesus wants us as Christians to live for him, live surrendered to him, and depend and rely on him. And he asks us to go out into the world and make disciples of people, and to love our neighbor as ourselves, and to love him, God, above all else. And I do my best to ask him every day to help me live for him, surrendered to him, and obedient to him. And sometimes I'm not very good at it. I'll admit, I do backslide. I do fall short a lot, more than I care to admit. But I think one of my gifts is I can work with my hands. And these tools help me to do so. And I'm going to use the gifts and the fruits that the Lord gave me to serve him, and him alone, not because I want recognition or prestige, but because I want to serve him, because Jesus died for me, and I want to live for him. And I pray and I ask God to help me live for him every day. Do I fall? Yes. But this is ultimately the core, for me at least, why I love EDC, because it helps me serve my God. And every part of me, this is a part of me, right? Every part of me, I want to give to God, and I give this to God, along with many other things. Sometimes I fail at giving it to God 100%, but this is what I give to God. But I also don't want to go overboard, right? That's why I've condensed my EDC down. That's why this channel is what it is. It's just about, mostly the philosophy. There will be gear reviews. I have reviewed what I have, but it's about philosophy, because I'm not here to consume. I'm here to share. And anyway, this has been why I love EDC. and why it matters. And I hope I didn't offend you. If I did, please let me know. Or feel free not to. It's up to you. But I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing me out. God bless you and your family. And remember, Jesus loves you. Bye-bye.